minutes of play. Intrigued to see the game plan for John Leamy in this second half. They didn't possess the ball that much. And again, they didn't even have the opportunity because of that ball pressure to even have the patience to have that ball that much into their possession.
The key will be to see how much Stuart Wilkin, their attacking midfielder, how much he's involved in the match, how many touches he gets. He gets number 11 in white from Missouri State.
Langen handles the throw in. And Brodacki. And here's Burtonshaw right next to him. They're getting to know each other pretty well here this afternoon.
Yeah, Burtonshaw hung tough because it was a nice little stiff arm from Brodacki coming out as Burtonshaw challenged for that ball. But Burtonshaw's had good help from Hebert as they more or less every time double team Brodacki.
Ian Jones starts out the second half for Coach Leamy on the throw in here. Olsen up ahead to Brodacki. And that was Hebert cutting it off in front of Brodacki. Robbins slides it back for Missouri State.
Let's see if Central Arkansas goes with the pressure again here.
Bates with the header. Picked up by Langen. Langen trying to go to the outside. And again, that was Kubota very aggressively deflecting that out of bounds.
Missouri State bypassing the midfield on that attack.
There's Wilkin.
Yes,
yeah.
Skillful in tight spaces.
Thanks, Brian.
Here's DeYoung. Burtonshaw. And he'll slide it back to the goalkeeper of the year in the Missouri Valley Conference, Liam Priestley. Burtonshaw.
Yep, it's
makes the connection with Ingram.
It's route one for Missouri State here in the second half. They're not trying to establish a possession game. They're just trying to put pressure on with long balls.
And Dollings pass back to Lewis just a little too far. Here you see the all-time record in title matches. Now for Central Arkansas, this is their very first title match in the Missouri Valley Conference, but there you see Missouri State only 1 out of 8, and that was back in 1999.
Bridesmaids ever since.
Stricker trying to punch it ahead to Jackson. And here's DeYoung for Missouri State. Knutson. This is Holmes. Reidner. And they're going to get a handball there as it was touched there by Langen.
And that's the wet ball factor there. It skipped. It does catch his arm. The referee immediately whistling. The ball almost gets away from him, does then catch the underside of his arm.
And we see the Bears forming their wall. San Roman will handle the kick here with the left. And that is deflected wide, and we'll get a corner for Central Arkansas, our first corner in this second half of play.
You'll see here the wall does the job it's designed for, as Pepe San Roman is looking for that near upper corner. And it's blocked by the wall.
Chris Holmes from Conway, Arkansas on the corner. And headed and then booted out. And that was last touched by Ingram, and we'll go back the other way for another corner by Central Arkansas.
Yeah, I think Priestley was onto this one, but it's good to have defenders there right with you to clear the danger as Ingram, he's a forward, but he's back there doing defensive duties.
That was Bates that had the header towards the goal. Now San Ramon. And Knutson for Central Arkansas. And now here comes Missouri State. Wilkin. And the Stricker doing a nice job of cutting off that pass.
Stricker read it. Foul there behind the play against Burtonshaw.
And that was Brodacki down on the surface here at Shea Stadium.
So obviously they're watching Brodacki very closely here. And Burtonshaw climbs on his back. And the whistle is blown. Another free kick opportunity for Pepe San Roman.
San Roman trying to find Knutson again.
And the whistle goes.
And the push off and the kick here coming to the Missouri State Bears.
Yeah, I think it's Knutson here that throws an arm in, from behind, and he's called for the foul. Foul called against Central Arkansas.
Here's San Ramon. Jones is calculated. And back to Olson. Just over 6 minutes have elapsed in this second half of the Valley Soccer Championship from Shea Stadium, and we are still scoreless between Missouri State and Central Arkansas. Jones on the ground. We play on.
I thought Jones was probably clipped there, but no call. Referee right on top of it.
Stricker. This is Lancaster. Kubata. Lancaster can't get a step, so he'll chip it ahead to Kubata. And we'll get the throw in for UCA.
We heard Ross Duncan, the Central Arkansas coach, talk about how Missouri State floods the zone, and they did that right there. There's like 5 white shirts trying to push the attack of Central Arkansas right off the sideline. Our force a turnover.
Here's Jackson. Brodacki trying to slide it up ahead to Stricker, and there's Priestley for Missouri State. Here's Laird for the Missouri State Bears, the regular season champions in the Valley. DeYoung. And that one too far for Ingram.
Missouri State, good release play there up the far sideline, getting out from the pressure.
Again, the Missouri State Bears, they have been in this situation. The championship game of the Missouri Valley Conference, 5 of the last 7 seasons. 5 of the last 7 seasons, and each one of those matches, they fall by a score of 1-0. Well, we're scoreless right now as we head to the second half here in the 2017 Valley Championship as they match up against Central Arkansas. Central Arkansas's first title match since joining the Missouri Valley Conference as a soccer-only member back in 2010.
And both teams needed penalty kick tiebreakers to make it to the final on Friday night.
And we'll get a kick here for UCA. There you see Pepe San Ramon.
So Evansville and Bradley, the other semifinalists, came that close to being here Always tough to lose on penalties.
It was quite a turnaround season for Jim DeRose here at Bradley. We know the terrific program he's built over many years here in Peoria, but two victories, I should say, over a year ago. That was definitely different, and the biggest turnaround for a soccer team in the NCAAs this year. Here's Knutson, dangerous for UCA. Now to San Ramon. Swings it outside to Cabada. Cabada with the cross and the header right on. Priestley makes the save.
Central Arkansas, though, pinning Missouri State into their final third there and working the ball wide. And it's a dangerous cross that comes in for Knutson. He just doesn't really put enough power on the header. Our placement.
Stricker trying to get Brodacki, and there's Hebert.
Hebert, a Canadian, playing against the Swede, Brodacki.
Priestley, Jones giving chase. And here's Robbins to Ingram. Ingram sliding it to the outside, DeYoung. DeYoung steers it over to Laird. Back to DeYoung. MSU on the attack. DeYoung. DeYoung trying to get a step. And UCA doing a terrific defensive job there on DeYoung on the far sidelines. Now Holmes will swing it over to Cabada. Here's Wilkin.
Wilkin getting more involved in this second half. He's showing up in some dangerous spaces.
Lewis swings it out to DeYoung. DeYoung finds Wilkin. Wilkin, a space shot. Oh, that one just missed as it went off the fingertips of Olsen, and we'll get a Missouri State corner as Wilkin dangerous here.
Well, this is a quality shot. Tremendous placement on it, but look at the goalkeeping there by Mark Olsen. Goes full stretch, just gets a couple fingernails to it. Otherwise, Wilkin has Missouri State on top. It's a quality strike and a tremendous save.
On the corner, headed out by UCA.
Foul called.
And yep, the foul was called on Central Arkansas.
Behind the play there. It's going to be tough here. We've got two excellent goalkeepers. Liam Priestley, of course, from Missouri State, statistically among the tops in the nation. And there's a foul that was blown. Initially, they gave advantage. And then here, Mark Olsen showing his ability. Because that ball was ripped by Wilkin.
Jake Buckle. And Central Arkansas. Buckle right there to intercept the pass. Oh, he had Dowling, and Dowling just wasn't able to catch up with that pass.
Dowling was in the clear.
A reminder, our next broadcast of the Valley on ESPN3 will be Thanksgiving weekend, and you can catch the entire 2017 MVC Volleyball Championships from Redbird Arena in Normal, Illinois. That's November 23rd through the 25th. And of course, the winner receiving that automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. And the coverage gets underway at 5 Central on Thanksgiving on November 23rd. Again, it's the Valley on ESPN3. Wilkin cuts off the pass.
A giveaway by Olsen.
Lewis slides it over to Dowling. Dowling in traffic. And the shot blocked. And Missouri State applying a lot more offensive pressure here in this second half already.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time in Central Arkansas's half of the field, and they've been able to possess the ball through midfield.
Buckle. Hebert. And DeYoung will throw it in for Missouri State. There's Lewis. Lewis. Back to DeYoung. Has a step and the cross. But right there is Mark Olson to collect it for Central Arkansas.
But Missouri State definitely playing with more confidence on the ball. They seem to have options when they look up. There's good off-the-ball running. This cross coming in here. It's easy for Olson. It's just too close to him.
Nice by Wilkin there. Dowling on the outside. Back to Wilkin. Wilkin trying to get some space. Now a shot, and that one will go wide. But that was blistered. I mean blistered by Jordy Robbins.
Robbins would like to have that one again, but again, it's Wilkin getting involved. We talked about that in the first half, and especially his ability to find spaces near the top of the penalty area and create scoring chances. He took a tremendous shot a few minutes ago, stopped by Olson, and this time he's setting up Robbins. And Robbins just didn't quite get it on target, but that is a dangerous approach play by Missouri State. We didn't really see that in the first half at all.
Burton Shaw. Buckle on the attack. Buckle. Oh, nice play defensively by Lancaster. Cut off that pass, or tell you what, Josh Dowling would have been walking in with a one-on-one against Olson.
And that pass by Burtonshaw that started it, the pass took 5 purple shirts out of the play because it was a splitting pass right through midfield to get the attack going. Burtonshaw's got excellent vision and good passing technique. There's Burtonshaw, number 3 in white.
And we'll get a throw in for Missouri State as Anderson with the header last touched that for Central Arkansas. Langen to throw it in. Here's Knutson. Stricker.
Oh, you love that. If you're a central defender and the midfielder comes back and does some of your defensive work for you like Robbins did there.
Absolutely. Here's Robbins. And again, like Ty pointed out in his conversation, there's John Leamy, the head coach at Missouri State, but his counterpart, Ross Duncan, applying a lot of ball pressure on the defensive end again here in the second half against the attack by Missouri State. But Missouri State, a much more potent offense in this second 45. Now a break for Missouri State. Here's Buckle.
Buckle likes his left foot too. He just couldn't get the handle on it to set the shot. And Missouri State has dealt better with that Central Arkansas pressure in this half.
Here's Woody with the carry. Woody, William Woody. Back to San Ramon. And we're going to throw in for UCA as we have under 26 and a half minutes remaining in this championship game. Lucas Genty, the freshman from France, will head out on the pitch, as it is Chris Holmes who will head over to the bench for Central Arkansas.
Missouri State's so disciplined. They're so quick to double team on the flanks, and that gets them a lot of possession and also forces Central Arkansas to try a different avenue out.
Lewis on the carry. Lewis still there. Lewis trying to get across, running out of real estate, and the throw in for MSU.
Yeah, Nate Lancaster's had a good defensive game at left back for Central Arkansas.
Buckle gets it to Dowling. Dowling. Robbins. And there's Brodacki. And And again, Hebert for the Missouri State Bears.
Yeah, Brodacki still all on his own up front.
Dowling. Langen, cross right into the arms of Olson. Folks, the Missouri Valley Conference is celebrating 25 years of women's athletics during the 2017-18 academic year, and you can find out all you need to know about this season-long recognition by visiting mvc-sports.com/women25. And that is going to go against, looks like Robbins.
Yeah, Robbins piled into Knutson. Referee right on top of it. Knutson fighting for position. He's the second or third header where the foul was called. Burtonshaw never seems to be in a big hurry. He knows his options.
Langen. And again, Central Arkansas, that was Anderson, very aggressive. And forces the goal kick as we'll get substitution. And headed in is David Stoll for Missouri State, as Wilkin will get a quick breather here.
No surprise there as Knutson wins another header, and then one right here too.
Knutson trying to get it to Brodacki. Anderson. And there's Laird for MSU.
There was an offside about 10 seconds ago.
I saw the hands going up, but I never heard a whistle. Yeah. So we passed the midway mark of this second half. Still scoreless between the first and second seeds in this Missouri Valley Conference tournament. Missouri State and Central Arkansas. San Roman with a header. There's Brodacki, blanketed, 4 white jerseys around him. Robbins. Langen. On the cross and right into the arms of Mark Olson.
You know, Josh Dowling wasn't too far from connecting with that. You'll see him making a near post run. And this is Jake Buckle. Good little body swerve, clipped in here. Look at Dowling. He's only about a step and a half from connecting with that.
Nice ball by San Roman to get it out to Brodacki. And we get the whistle, and looks like we're going to get the free kick for Missouri State here.
Burtonshaw will line it up.
Defensive Player of the Year in the Valley. Trying to find Dowling. And we'll get the throw in now for Missouri State. There's Dowling. Back to Buckle. Buckle. On the cross, and Olson is right there to sky up and bring that ball down. That was a pretty dangerous play there by Missouri State.
Yeah, Olson does really well. Now, Buckle, it's interesting. He's a left-footed player, but he's playing out here on the right-hand side, and so he's able to cut the ball back and then send those in-swingers in. That one had a little bit too much air under it, allowing Olson to collect it easily.
That was Lewis at the far post as Connor Ingram will come in for Dowling. And we'll also see Holmes heading back into the pitch for Central Arkansas as 20 minutes remain in the second half. San Ramon.
Ilya has come on also for Central Arkansas, and he's a game breaker. He has the ability to beat players. So watch number 4 in purple.
There's Ilya there.
And he's fresh, too. You got to think that some of the Missouri State defenders are a little bit exhausted from chasing Brodacki, and that they would give a player like Ilya, number 4, a chance to break them down.
He has a goal and 3 assists this season. Long throw in here, headed by Knutson, and then flicked ahead, and Priestley is right there for Missouri State. Here's Bates. Hebert.
Yeah, Hebert's been very steady and good positional sense as well.
That's Lewis. Here's Hebert. And now Priestley wants to swing it back here. Here's Burtonshaw. And that's cut off by Holmes. We'll get the throw in for MSU. So now here comes Wilkin as well as Ian Jones back in for Coach Leamy.
Now we mentioned one of the keys for Missouri State is the depth of their bench, and they've allowed a chance for a few of their midfielders to rest. They bring them back on like Wilkin. Can they make a difference now that they're fresher? And you can go deeper into the bench and still have guys who can do the job for Missouri State.
Nice job by Wilkin right there. Gets it back from Lewis. Wilkin. Lewis tackled on the play.
Good challenge there by Blake Stricker for Central Arkansas.
And we'll get the throw in for Missouri State. Again, Missouri State, more of the attack in this second half, comparatively speaking, to the first half when Central Arkansas had the upper hand in that department. And we will get the kick here coming for Central Arkansas.
The high ball coming in off the throw by Jones. And it's a foul called against Missouri State there. Was it Pepe San Roman who was fouled?
And there's Pepe right here.
A nice left foot.
Holmes to Brodacki.
He's still 50 yards from the goal. He wants to attack. He has to be frustrated.
Stricker. This is Holmes. Holmes. Lancaster. Lancaster with the carry. Lancaster sliding outside. San Ramon. Knutson. And Lancaster ahead and a header. And we're going to get a whistle. And
yeah, Brodacki was in there, but he was offside.
He was offside. Yeah. That was so close for Central Arkansas, by far their best pressure. Yep, there he got just a little bit ahead of the defender there, Hebert.
Lancaster doing extremely well to win the header as he cut inside. He's trying to get it into Brodacki, but Brodacki impatiently got in behind the defender too soon.
That was as dangerous as we've seen Central Arkansas's attack in this second half. Lancaster. San Ramon. And another substitution, Jake Buckle, quick breather. And also coming in for Central Arkansas will be Lucas Genty, number 6, as you see him heading out. Well, who's going to break here, Ty Keogh?
It's been more hopeful in terms of creating chances for Missouri State. So they've had the best opportunities in this second half. We've had some good balls played in by Pepe San Roman that looked dangerous for Central Arkansas as well.
Here's Genty. The Reidner. Oh, Lewis just came right over there and just like a thief stole that away, man. Here's Jones. Jones sliding outside to Lewis. Knutson,
all over it.
Just beat him to the ball. Brodacki. And that one's going to get past San Ramon, and a throw in here for Missouri State as Dowling want to check back in on the substitution for Jones.
So Missouri State again going to the bench repeatedly, looking to keep the fresh attackers out there, trying to wear down Central Arkansas's back line and midfield. The later you get in the match, the more critical it becomes that maybe you've got some guys that are a bit fresher.
Burtonshaw trying to find Dowling and sails over his head and right into the midst of Mark Olson. 13 minutes remaining.
Both teams playing 20 minutes of overtime and then going to penalties on Friday night in the semifinals. They got here the hard way.
Here's Ingram. And Lewis giving chase. And who is that last
Stricker
touch
made
by?
a good tackle.
And they are going to say it is a goal kick here, Ty Keogh, as they're going to say Lewis last touched it. But as you mentioned, Stricker hustling down.
Yep. You see Stricker sliding here and knocking it off of the Missouri State attacker. Yeah, those are always tough. You want the momentum makes it look like it may have been off the defender.
Mm-hmm.
But if the timing's that quick, it can rebound back off the attacking player.
Knutson.
The ref can't get him all right.
Yes, he can. Here's Buckle. And Dowling giving chase. Dowling's going to catch up to it. Dowling on the cross. And there's Central Arkansas in the midfield area. Here's Elia. Boy, Elia had San Ramon there. They finally get him. He was not accounted for there for a while. Here's Knutson. Holmes. San Ramon. On the cross. Couldn't connect with Brodacki. And we'll go back the other way on the push.
But San Ramon's been sending some pretty dangerous balls in here with the left foot. That's a well-driven ball. A little bit of a collision there, no call. It's just that Brodacki is so powerful when he holds his ground there. The defenders kind of bounce off of him.
Priestley with the kick here for Missouri State.
Knutson winning another header.
Yep. Ebert.
May have been a semi-disguised handball there.
And there's Holmes with a nice play.
It's one of the few times, if Holmes could have played the ball early over the top, it was one of the few times I saw Brodacki actually one-on-one with Burtonshaw.
Boy, nice by San Ramon.
Good pass.
Over to Genty.
Not a good enough touch there.
Yeah. Here's Ingram, and that was headed by Lancaster, and Missouri State will get the throw in as we near the 10-minute mark remaining in this championship game of the second half. As there you see Dylan DeYoung, the freshman from New Zealand, heading in for Harry Lewis. Burton Shaw. Ingram trying to get across, does, and gets right through and to Mark Olson.
We may as well mention it. If it remains tied at the end of regulation, it'll be 10 minutes each way of sudden victory. Tied after that, penalty kicks.
There you see Ross Duncan, the head coach at Central Arkansas. And that's Bates.
He can launch him.
Yes, he can. He's just a freshman from Texas.
See if he can find Knutson in that crowd. Or Brodacki.
And it's Knutson with the header. And there's Dowling. Now Genty trying to keep on the pressure.
Missouri State will try to break quickly here. No, instead they just turn it over.
Yeah. Stricker finds San Ramon. But right there is Langen defensively. Langen, nice ball. Still carrying. Langen. And
I think it'll be a free kick. He may
he may
have gotten clipped there. Pretty good run down the right-hand side. He kind of turns on the afterburners. Yeah, he's clipped from behind there by San Roman.
And it will be, looks like Wilkins going to handle this kick here. We almost have a corner kick for all intents and purposes right now. But all important as we're latter stages of this contest.
And Wilkins, he'll whip it in there. He's got some targets. Dowling especially.
And this one headed, just over the crossbar. Best chance of the match for Missouri State, and that was Hebert.
Yep. Hebert's been dominant defensively. This is the time he gets to be an offensive star. He got a lot of power behind that header as well. But directionally, just not on target.
Can't believe it, can he?
Defenders, they don't get a chance to be heroes that often.
Burton Shaw just stuck to the hip of Brodacki almost all afternoon long. Now Dowling giving chase, and dangerous. Olson, aggressive, comes away with it.
Yeah, Olson taking the correct angle and timing, coming off of his line at just the right time. Dowling, his eyes lit up here, I think, but Olson had it covered.
Here's Holmes. Holmes back to San Ramon as we touch on 7 minutes remaining in the second half. Berth to the NCAA tournament is on the line here in Peoria. Still 0-0. Central Arkansas, Missouri State. Two Bears doing battle here at Shea Stadium. Genty. And now here comes Robbins on the counterattack. I'm sorry, it's Wilkin. Wilkin now finds Ingram. Ingram with the left and right into the arms of Olson once again.
Wilkin has to be frustrated. What a great run through midfield by him. And good vision to put the ball into space for Ingram. And Ingram just gets nothing on this shot. But Wilkin looks, again, very light on his feet and very confident in beating players at midfield.
Burton Shaw. Dowling. And here's Reidner for UCA. Genty slides it back and wanted to play a little catch with Stricker, but that is last touch by Missouri State, so Stricker will handle the throw-in for the Central Arkansas Bears with 5.5 remaining. Here's San Ramon working the midfield. Now swings it outside. Here's Elia. Now on the cross. And so close. Central Arkansas almost tipped that one in.
Extremely dangerous situation here. Elia lays it out wide. This is a driven cross. It's deflected, and Priestley gets his hand to it. That's a phenomenal save because that ball was redirected at the last second, and it's a wet ball, and he got enough to it to keep it out.
Bates. And what are we going to have here? Looks like we get the goal kick for Missouri State. And one more quick reminder, our next Valley on ESPN3 broadcast will be coming up on Thanksgiving weekend, actually Thanksgiving 5 Central, as we open up the coverage of the 2017 MVC Volleyball Championships from Redbird Arena in Normal, Illinois.
There's Liam Priestley. He's the reason Missouri State is in this championship final because of the big saves. 2 or 3 of them he made in the semifinal, and he's the reason that Missouri State is not trailing right now. That ball was redirected right out in front of him, and he still got down to get his hand to it. And he was one of my keys to the match for Missouri State, and you saw it right there.
Here's Burton Shaw. Langen will handle the throw in here for Missouri State. And there's Knutson. Now San Ramon. Laird to Lewis. Genty giving chase. And here's Robbins finding Ingram. Ingram over and back to Ingram. Oh, it slides just past the post there.
Just spinning wide and spinning on that wet turf. Great hustle by Ingram to get the ball initially into Dowling. Dowling then tries to return the favor. And boy, that was just a double deflection. I don't know that Olsen really would have been able to react. No, he was reacting well after the ball went wide of his post.
Buckle on the corner. Buckle on the header, and that one is going to go wide. And we'll get the goal kick here as we have just 2 minutes remaining. 2 minutes remaining in regulation.
You're going to watch this. Ingram really has a good look at this, and I know there's traffic in there. And it glances off of his head rather than being driven by his forehead. We've had good action at either end.
We have.
Just in the last 90 seconds or so.
No question, things have opened up immensely here as both teams going for it all. A lot on the line. Dowling. Ingram. There's Wilkin. And there's the whistle. Bates doesn't like the call, but
yeah, he got the ball, but he's also challenging from behind. He got a little piece of Wilkin. You'll see Wilkin very light on his feet, knows where the pressure's coming from. And when you challenge from behind, they're almost always going to call the foul, even if you get a bit of the ball.
Let's see how they set this one up here. Burton Shaw. And that one fisted out. Now a shot taken off the post. Rebound and deflected, and we'll get a corner for Missouri State.
How close can you get?
Wow, they got a hustle.
Oh, and that ball was hammered. That ball absolutely hammered. Olsen does well just to punch it clear, but look at that ball. It's
boom. I mean,
bang.
Square.
That ball, that post is still ringing.
Wilkin has the corner. Missouri State dangerous. Punched out by Olsen. Under 20 seconds remaining. And then Central Arkansas alleviates the pressure. And it looks like we are going to head to an overtime, and why not? As time will wind down, scoreless after 90 minutes here in Peoria.
You know, Scott, somebody really should answer that. It's still ringing.